Let's go.
What camera are we on? This one?
Number one.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Champagne, and welcome to the Connect Show. Each week, we invite you to be some of the brightest and the best who get you in the right mindset and learn the best techniques to help you in your business to rock in 2022.
We're going to rock 2022. And to start, let's jump into the chat. And what is one task you'd like to automate? And this is relevant because we have some guests today that are going to help us automate and rethink how we can automate, delegate, and do things a little bit better. Speaking of the guest, who do we have today?
Today we have two wonderful guests. First, we have Ariel, who will show us how we can get in the right mindset and make automation work for us, and Kim Yang, who will show us how to leverage and scale our LinkedIn account.
And of course, Kim will be giving the networking report. So please like and subscribe if you're listening to this on a podcast, YouTube, or the Facebooks, and reach out to us at Ideas at the Connect Show. We want to hear from you and answer your questions. So the lab, we want to talk about the Serendipity Labs, which is where we're located. Studio A5 is in suite number 120. Here in the back of the giant Serendipity Labs, and they opened right before the pandemic. And we were so fortunate to be a part of it in the beginning, and we continue to be a trusted strategic partner with the lab. And what I love most about it today is the networking events that take place here. We have all kinds of networking events from music to just interacting as human beings and eating donuts, to business events. And so there's a lot of different events that you can be involved in. They're happening all the time, and it's just a wonderful place to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. In fact, our guest today, Ariel, does a lot of events here, which I've attended, which has been awesome.
They are pretty awesome.
So we would like you to be our guest also. And if you don't want to be our guest and know somebody who might want to be our guest, send us an email at, what's our email? ideas@theconnectshow.com. And you can also go on our website to theconnectshow.com/be our guest. And there's a little form that you can fill out, and we can get back to you as soon as we can on that.
If you are new to the Connect experience, each month we have a new business topic. Next month, we're going to be talking about business acceleration. Or this month, we're talking about business acceleration. And in December, we're going to be starting out the new year and having a Christmas party.
Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of cool things in the works for the Christmas party.
I'm looking forward to it. There's some exciting things.
So an important part of our growth is to keep connected. So if you're here on Zoom, please put your contact information in the chat and reach out to anybody you've never met before and maybe set up a one-on-one.
Rory Varden has said, automation is to time as compound interest is to your money. And we're going to be talking about automation and delegation today. And I think Rory had a great quote to get us started for the day. Mm-hmm. So Tracy, what is one thing you would like to automate for the new year?
What would I like to automate in the new year?
And I'm going to look in the chat while you're doing that. I'm not ignoring you.
What is one thing I want to automate? Well, there's a lot of things that I already automate, but there's a lot of things that I probably don't know that I could be automating. And so because I'm in digital marketing, there's a lot of things that I can automate. So like if somebody signs up for a newsletter, you can send them off to different places and automate that whole process. But I think something new that I'd want to automate might be something more on like how I go through my day, a little bit more of a process to make things flow a little bit easier.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk about automation and time management by going into vitamins for the soul.
Vitamins for the Soul is a new segment where we share good habits and tools to help you on your journey.
Success is a result of consistent good habits, and each week we want to share some of these tools and strategies and ideas that we use. Tracy, you've been listening to Rory's book, which I just happen to have right here, and I've been meaning to read it, but I've been putting it off.
Well, you should read it. It's really a good book.
But it's about procrastination.
It is procrastinating on purpose. There's a reason that you should be procrastinating, and it's not the reason that you don't want to do something. It's because sometimes he talks about in the book that when you're procrastinating on purpose because something is taking a higher priority over something else. So you're intentionally putting something off because it's not that high of a priority as something else is. So that's what I've learned about what procrastination on purpose means.
What did he get into any of the time management as an emotional problem rather than a strategic or tactical problem?
Yeah, he talked a lot of it's about the emotional problem. So you tie a lot of your things that you do in your life based on how you feel at the moment. And if you don't feel like you want to do it, you're just not going to do it probably. But if you can remove the emotional part and make it more of a, this needs to get done because of this, like if you change the emotion part, like I'll be rewarded with this if I do it, then you will reprioritize your things that you want to get done.
I love it. Tell me about the coffee cup.
The coffee cup. The coffee cup really stood out to me, and I actually so I listened to books. I never read them because I just I'll fall asleep. So I listen to them all. But the coffee cup story was, you go into a coffee shop and you get a $5 cup of coffee, and you think that that's great. It's only $5. But the way that he presented it was, well, it's $5 that you're paying for the cup of coffee. You're losing $5 on an opportunity cost where you could have put $5 into something else that would have made you money. Instead, you're just drinking coffee. And then he says there's $55 lost based on the opportunity that you lost to make money on the $5. So basically you're losing like $55, $60 on your $5 cup of coffee.
That is, I love the math that he puts behind everything. He says that time is worth more than money. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
So the time is worth more than money part is that if you get paid a certain amount of money an hour to do something, but if you could get somebody else to do that same task for less amount of money, then you've gained all that time that you can use on something else. So time is worth a lot more than money.
And there's a multiplying effect that he references, correct?
Yeah, that was with the cup of coffee thing too. Mm-hmm. Like if you took that $5 every month or every day and put it away and then it multiplies every year, you'd end up with this amount of money. But instead you spent it on a cup of coffee. So you're actually losing all that money that you would have saved.
That compound interest.
Right. So you're actually losing it instead of just not even sitting still. So when you think about that, now I feel really kind of guilty about every time I go buy coffee.
So we're all going to boycott Starbucks after the holidays because there's no way that you cannot go to Starbucks when you're at the mall. It's part of the tradition. So I think we need to give one of these away so that our audience can
also
multiply their time.
Also gain some guilt for coffee. But no, it really does help you think about your choices that you're making, about how you spend your money and your time. So it is a really great read. I think everybody should read it. But yeah, we do have a giveaway.
We do have a giveaway.
Cue the cats.
Cue the cats. That's what, yes. There it is. My life is better. Oh, I love the cats. All right. So Tracy, how do we enter this giveaway?
So if you go to theconnectshow.com/giveaway, on that page, there'll be a little place that you can add your email address to enter one time. But then they have additional options that you can do additional things like our Facebook page, join our newsletter, and then you can get multiple entries. We're going to pick the winner today at 10:45, so you have to do it right now. So if you're sitting over there in Zoom land, please go enter in, because in 30 minutes we will let you know if you won.
Get on it. It's going to happen. We're going to go to a short commercial before we bring our first guest on.
Ariel, welcome.
Thank you.
So Ariel is a well-known coach here in Milwaukee and has helped hundreds of small business owners break through their fears and doubts that hold them back. As a regular on the Young Guns TV panel and the Young Guns event, Ariel is actively connecting with the... Oh, that's the wrong way. With the what?
Well, I'm not sure what the sign said, but I will say that with Young Guns, I would be on the panel where we would consult with business owners and give them advice on how to fix their challenge or help them to grow their business more.
Okay. And you're also the founder of the Coaches Culmination, which is a cohort of coaches that meet regularly to support each other in their journey. And honored to be one of the biggest motivational speakers. So welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So we're all about automation today.
Yes.
So what is one thing that you would like to automate that would make your life easier?
Ooh.
That you're not already automating, I'm sure.
Well, I am grateful to have a great platform where I can automate a lot. However, I think the opportunity to automate is really in more of my client experience opportunities. I was at a conference this weekend and we talked about the value of the client experience. And that can be very overwhelming when you think about all the different ways that you want your clients to have a really great experience with you all throughout the stages of engaging with you, prior to, during, and after. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for me in the automation aspect of improving and maximizing the client experience.
Yeah, that is very important. The client experience is like very top of the things to think about with your business.
Absolutely. Yes.
So with mindset issues, what do you see when people are trying to scale or automate their business? Like, do they have to be at a certain mindset in order to get to that point where they're thinking about doing those things?
I think so. I think there's an aspect to the level of business that you're at, and then also the transition, because you first have to create it or identify what you want to do, and then how do you automate it, right? Because you don't want to repeat something that isn't really great for your business. You want to repeat what really is. So you first have to assess what you're doing, and then have confidence in that whatever it is, just start and then iterate. I think that's the part of, well, I don't want it to be automated. I don't want to repeat it if I'm not sure that it's great or perfect, right? That perfectionism. So the idea of you can automate it and then you can tweak it as you go, as you learn more, as you think about different ways to do it, but just start, automate, and iterate.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Our previous guest talked about creating your perfect future story. Can we create that story now, or do we need to rid ourselves of all the fear before we embark on that journey?
Was that a leading question? I think we all know that you just have to start wherever it may be. And I do talk a lot about finding and facing your fears, but you also don't want to spend all of your time thinking about what your fears are, only the ones that are holding you back. So my coaching practice is called Harness Your Hindrance. And when I get asked, well, when you think about all the limiting beliefs or all the fears that come up, it can be very overwhelming. I say, yes, that's why we only want to focus on your hindrance at the time. what is the fear, what is the challenge, what is the reason for procrastination, as you mentioned with the book, that is causing for you to hold back from taking the action that you need to take to be on that journey, to take that next step. So identifying what's that one fear that's holding me back right now, not overall, but right now, and face it. And then as you lean into it, what is the source of that fear? But then what is the benefit of getting past that fear and focusing not just on the obstacle, but the outcome after you move past that obstacle?
I just saw a movie and they talked about the winner effect. Like if you win, your brain thinks that you're going to win, and it creates like a habit of winning. And when you break through that fear, what can we do for a small win every day to kind of create that winning effect of breaking through and getting past those hindrances?
Think of it as winning momentum. So there was a time when I was in California and I was overwhelmed with all of the work that I needed to do, and I was constantly beating myself up. Of, didn't do this. Oh, I'd be in the shower and be like, oh no, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And just constantly not feeling like I was doing enough, or that I was messing up all the time. And at one point, my mind went, I can't handle this anymore. My mind said, stop beating yourself up. I'm going to have a breakdown if this continues. And so after that happened, I just focused on progress, not perfection. And it was whenever I started to beat myself up, or I started to think about the things I wasn't doing, or I was feeling down about not doing well enough in my own self-imposed expectations, I would say progress, not perfection. And I would just keep saying it over and over again, kind of like a crazy person, until I started to internalize it. Progress, not perfection, progress, not perfection, progress, not perfection. And I would repeat it until I really put myself in that mode. And then I would say, okay, how am I making progress right now? What action can I take to make progress right now? And every time I took that step, that was a win. So building that winning momentum of just knowing the object is not perfection or to be there, because there's no there, but it's about making continual progress.
So you have a lot of clients with your coaching, and so we're talking about getting over their fears. Are there certain things that you do to help kind of hold their hand a little bit to walk through them? I'm just curious about how you approach that with your coaching practice.
So I think of it as I'm the guide in the journey. They have to be willing to go there. They have to know where they want to go and go take each step along the way. So they're owning the journey, and I'm just alongside them saying, let's keep going, let's keep going, let's keep walking in. And that's oftentimes leaning into what is the fear? What is the source of the fear? How is that fear showing up for you? How is that impacting you? What are the immediate implications of your response to that fear of holding back? And so I ask questions and really help them to get a wider perspective, because we all come in with a certain focus or sometimes fixation in one area or on one fear. And what I do is kind of address that, but then also address the other aspects to give them a full perspective, and then say, now where do you want to go? It's up to you. This is your journey, your path. But I'm here to help make sure that you're seeing all aspects, that you're leaning into the fears, because our minds will want to protect us. And when there's a pain or a fear come up, our mind goes, nope, I don't want to go there. That's uncomfortable. I don't like that. And then I'm there to say, and let's go back, because we got to lean in. There's the only way to where you want to go is through the fear, through the obstacle. The only way to is through. So I help them to lean in and go through, so that we can then truly get past it instead of getting deviated from the path.
That's awesome.
I love it. Do we have any questions from the audience that we could ask? And if not, maybe I could call on somebody. Van had an interesting comment in the chat where he said, maybe we shouldn't automate, and the human touch is important. So, Van, maybe you could expand on that a little bit.
Just as you said that, Van went off camera. So,
all right, cool.
Maybe he can expand on it in a little bit.
That sounds great. Kim, is there some? Oh, there's Ann.
There he is.
Sorry, what did I miss?
Well, we were commenting on your comment in the chat that we're very automated, and maybe some things are better left to the human touch. When you think of automation and delegation, where do you think that would be useful, and where do you think that could be a hindrance?
Well, I think any entity that prides itself on a relationship-based kind of experience, you can only do so much automation. You really need to be able to, and maybe AI will take us there at some point, but I need to have a conversation with someone to kind of dig into their needs and better understand where they're coming from and their experience set. AI may be able to do that, but at this point, we need to go with the human gut.
Definitely. Does anybody here use like top of the funnel automation where they have some type of autoresponder or CRM? Do you use anything like that? I know that you reach a wide audience.
I do. I do some more so for events, and if you're doing a survey or something, having that immediate thank you. There's a way of kind of creating that engagement, because when you are fully present in one space or one area, you can't necessarily be doing all these things, and you want to make sure that your follow-up is there. That's one thing I think a lot of people, as we talk about procrastination and such, people struggle with follow-up. So if you continually struggle with follow-up, then automate, because it's better than nothing. That's I think when you think about automation, it's oftentimes it's better than nothing, but what you don't want to automate is that personal connection, especially if you have a personal brand oriented business. You really don't want to lose that human connection, because automation is not a replacement for human connection. It's a replacement for lack of follow through. It's a way to maximize your communication, to reach a wider audience. But I don't want to confuse automation as a way to create human connection, because I really think that's a separate component. And so when I talked about automating the client experience, it's more so, how do I create more systems to continually engage more with my clients, to gather more information from them, more feedback, perhaps reviews, other aspects that might take a lot of work up front, but that does not take away from the importance of that human connection, making sure that my clients feel truly seen and heard. Automation can't do that.
Yeah, I think automation really helps in the consistency of being out there and being people relying on you and developing that trust. And I know that Kim has a comment about being a social media manager and automating posts, and Kim can follow up on that when we speak with her in just a moment. But what are you thinking, if you could automate one thing for 2022? Did you ask her this and I missed that? Okay, what was your answer?
My answer was the client experience, and not the whole client experience, but using automation to help improve and maximize my client experience. But that will be, the more I automate the things that I need to do or keep putting off or keep saying I want to do, the more I can automate those things, the more I'll create capacity and time and freedom to truly connect and have those one-off personal connections with my clients, because then I'm not thinking about all the stuff that I need to do that's on my to-do list or that I haven't completed, that pulls me away from being truly present and engaged with my clients and thinking about them and what they may need, instead of thinking about all the things I didn't do because I didn't automate.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people are afraid that if they're talking about automation, it's going to be like a one-size-fit-all response to all people that you always talk to, and that's not what she's saying at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's more like automation behind the scenes to help you keep all of your stuff in line. And then how are you going to, what kind of tool might you use to send out a survey or something like that, so that you can record all those answers in a quicker amount of time than sending out an email one at a time, asking a question, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Automation can enable you to be more present and focused and engaged.
Right.
Use your time on the things that are truly important.
Right.
Ariel, it's been so wonderful to have you on the show today. We really
Thank you for having
appreciate
me.
it.
It's been wonderful.
You have something you want to tell our audience about, and we have your information on the website too.
Wonderful. Yes. So as we talk about events at Serendipity Labs, the next event being held at Serendipity Labs through Coaches Culmination, in part much thanks to Jon Taylor and Tracy here, as they are amazing contributors in those events. We have our next Coaches Culmination event coming up February 24th, Thursday, February 24th. It's an evening event, and we're going to talk about simplifying business. So as we talk about automation and everything, it'll be a great follow-up perhaps in how do you simplify the aspects of your business and keep things simple, because that's what will resonate with people the most. So you can go to coachesculmination.com to stay up to date with our events and engage with us from there.
Awesome.
It has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And with that, we are going to hear from Kim about what's happening in networking during the networking report.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Networking Report. I am Kim Knock. I have a few things I'll talk about today. We don't have a special guest. So one thing that Ariel mentioned is speaking for the Young Guns movement, and they happen to have a fall summit coming up on, I just lost my date. Where did my date go? I think it's November 19th. For some reason, my date is gone. I will put links to this in the chat. Their theme for the fall summit is healthy, wealthy, wise. And scrolling back up here, I'm so sorry. Here's some things that people have to say about their events. The Young Guns movement has so much energy. As soon as you walk in the room, you feel motivated. Then speakers begin and you are captivated immediately. Thanks for another great event. Young Guns is both practical and inspirational, a must attend for any entrepreneur or salesperson. Each event has had tangible action driven takeaways. The value received is worth every penny of the investment. And I happen to just, I love those takeaways from that. It just feels very, very real. Another thing I'm going to talk about is tomorrow, Tracy and I are actually working on a larger collaboration of local networking groups named the Wisconsin Networking Expo. And currently this is going to be held on Virtual United. And I think I said this already once, but I'm going to say it again. One thing I love about networking is collaboration. I love to say collaboration, not competition. It's one of my favorite hashtags. We definitely are looking to collaborate these local groups together because I feel like we can all learn from each other. No one's group is anyone's group, and some people hold them so very tight, but we're all in this together. And that's what we love about local small businesses and local networking, is actually being able to help each other. So those are two things Tracy and I, and if Tracy wants to talk about it all, she can, have been looking for some other platforms to have this on, and it's been really fun. We think we have one for December's event. It's actually already scheduled, but tomorrow's is going to be on Virtual United. So I will put links to those in the chat. And if you have a local networking group, please reach out to me and we can get you your very own room and tell you more about what we're going to do together. So at that, I'm going to give it to Jon and Tracy.
Thanks, Kim.
Well, thank you very much, Kim. We surely appreciate it. Another exciting networking report, and we are looking forward to it. So let's hear about Kim, Tracy.
Kim is waiting. Kim is waiting. So Kim Yang has helped countless professionals from all walks of life in mastering the art of social selling through her skillful orchestration of discovery call campaigns for numerous market segments.
She has helped build and nurture hundreds of local business relationships through Atlanta and Indianapolis, and the managing partner of Inbox Gorilla, a done-for-you LinkedIn lead generation service that focuses on bringing business owners top of the funnel. Welcome, Kim Yang. We're so glad to have you on the show today.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you two?
We are doing good. We have a little fuzzy thing on the backdrop there, but life is good. So tell us something great that's happened to you in the last week or so.
Well, the last week we've had a flux of new clients coming in. It's been a bit overwhelming, but a good problem to have. Can't complain at all. So that's always exciting.
That's awesome. So you are the girl that's all about LinkedIn. So are there a bunch of regulations and limitations that we should be paying attention to?
Yes. So we do focus primarily on LinkedIn. I think I spend oh, I don't even know, 24 hours, it feels like, on LinkedIn all the time. But yes, there are definitely a lot of limitations and restrictions that a lot of people just aren't aware of. I think they come to the platform just looking to scroll through the news feed, connect with other professionals, but they don't understand the importance of, maybe having an optimized profile, or the amount of connections you can send out to people, or messages you can send out a day. So I think, but that's okay. I don't think everyone knows what exactly goes on LinkedIn. I think to some, it's just another social media platform. And so yes, there are definitely a lot of limitations and restrictions.
You know what I wish that they'd let us do is copy events. I put a lot of events in LinkedIn, and I wish I could just copy, and I got to do each one individually.
I get you. I understand.
So how do you find your audience on LinkedIn using hyper-targeting?
So Sales Navigator definitely helps on LinkedIn. Most people don't know about Sales Navigator. They think it's completely separate from LinkedIn, but the tool that LinkedIn provides with more filtered, just more filters in order to find that target audience. You can filter through company head size. You can filter through how long someone has had an experience working at a certain company, things of that sort. But the hyper targeting on LinkedIn, what we do with Connected as well as Inbox Gorilla is we do Boolean searches, and so it's just really finding the keywords in the titles of the target that you're looking for and putting it onto the LinkedIn head search there, and making sure you're clicking through people, making sure you're targeting the right industries, the right keywords, locations, things of that sort. You really have to tone in on who you're trying to find, who you're trying to target on LinkedIn. Keywords beating anything else that's on their profile. I tell my clients, find some sort of relatability, right, with the prospect that you're reaching out to, and make sure you understand their titles. I think that's the key component. A lot of the time people overlook that. It's what people have on their headline, on their profile, is what's going to really help you find them a lot better. Same thing for yourself. If you want people to find you, you have to update your headline on your profile to make sure that people can find you for when they're searching for those specific keywords.
With that in mind, what can we do today to make our profile better? Is it in the first 5 words that we should have keywords that describe what we do, or should we do something clever? I went to a networking event, and I talked to an accountant, and they had such a clever way of describing that they were an accountant. I had no idea what they did, and then they described what they did, and I said, "Oh, you're an accountant." So where do we put that in those first 5-10 words, and how does that look like?
Right. Well, I think that's always fun. I always tell my clients, add a little personality to your profile. I think a lot of people are just so focused on just being very, very, very professional and stern, which I'm not against at all. But I think on LinkedIn, you have to make yourself stand out, right? My profile, I have a little circle, or like a red circle around my profile picture. It just makes me stand out a bit more from the others, right? Or, the accountant, I'm not too sure what they wrote, but it's always a fun, creative way that you can make people remember you, make your name stand out. Obviously, of course, letting them know what your title is and how you help people, but you want to get creative with it. You want to add personality. You want people to know that you are somebody else too, outside of just your title at work, right? I often tell my clients, add something, add hobbies, add different titles, certificates, or accomplishments that you've achieved onto your headline. I think it's important. It's really showcasing you. Right? I have people that put dog lovers. On mine, I have volleyball fanatic. And I think that's something I can really relate to with other people that have perhaps a volleyball experience or past. And so that gives us something to talk about, say if I reach out to them, right? Also in your profile, I'd say, in my opinion, the 3 top things that people notice when they first visit your profile are going to be your banner image in the back, your headline statement, and then your profile picture. You just really want to make sure you have a clear professional headshot, right? You don't want to be too far from the image that people can't really see who you are, how you look. And then your banner image, I would suggest not having too many words. really. No one wants to read paragraphs and paragraphs. No one wants to just see phone numbers and emails listed there. Put a good image there, maybe of your logo. I have clients that have the city headline, the city background of where they're from. It's nothing, you don't have to overthink it, but I think it could be a really good place where you showcase, speaking engagements that you've had, images that people have taken of you. So I think those are the three things that people initially see when they visit your profile, which will then determine if they're going to take the time to scroll down to do the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Following up again, with the title, I see a lot of people put a lot of things on there. What is your opinion on, should we have clarity in our title and say we do one thing specifically really well, or should we list all the things that we do? What do you think is better?
For me specifically, I think with my clients, it's all about the objective that we're trying to reach. So if you are holding multiple titles, purely based off of what campaigns we're going to be running off of your LinkedIn account, you have to mirror that on your profile. It has to be congruent. So I think you have to establish what you're trying to do, who you're trying to reach, and how you help. One thing, I think you want to try to stick to one objective there, to be very clear, crystal clear, so that when people visit your profile, they're not confused, right? I usually have our clients structure title at company, right? So that they at least see your title. And then at the end, how you help people, how are you serving people? I think that's going to really showcase your abilities, your capabilities, the services you provide without going into too much depth. So just to reiterate, answer your question, I think you need to determine what that one objective is as you're reaching out to people, because you want the messaging and you want your profile to just really be congruent there. Just be as simple as possible. Don't make it confusing for the people that are going to be visiting your profile or the people that you're trying to connect to.
I love it. Have a nice wrapper to bring it all together. I like it.
So can you tell us something about what your scripting approach is?
Absolutely. It's going back to what you guys were discussing earlier, humanizing your scripting. I think it's important. I don't think automation is bad. I think it's a great tool, but I think sometimes people make it bad, or they give it this perception that it's bad because they feel as though they're being sold to on LinkedIn. They're just using it to spam and write long paragraphs to people. And so we have to put that into consideration. I mean, what would you like to see right in your inbox? And so with the scripting, you really have to find relatability. And our initial, with Inbox Gorilla specifically, I have account managers that are having real conversations with people, human touch. The automation is just that initial touch point to get them to respond to us, and then we humanize the rest of it, right? It's not meant, the automation is not meant to take over everything. It's not meant to spam people. It's not meant to sell. I am against selling within the inbox. It's very conversational, very relational. I tell our clients to take your online conversations and turn them into offline conversations, right? It's better that way. You have to build more rapport. You have to dive deep into the things that they're going through, the struggles, of the services you provide. That's something that you talk about over a phone call or a Zoom call, right? You let your profile sell for you. In the inbox, you try to build a little more rapport. You make the conversation about them, not selling your services. No one asks you what services you provide. You're reaching out to them. Make it about them. Make it meaningful. Make the conversation meaningful and the connection overall meaningful. So it's really just about that. Being authentic, easygoing, engaging, ask questions, and don't make it about yourself.
Yeah, I can't tell you, the biggest turnoff I get when I meet somebody on LinkedIn is they send this big long puke of stuff, and you're just like, we're not there yet. I don't even know who you are, and you're already trying to tell me how great something is, and it's like knocking on your door, and you open the door and salesperson. It's the worst thing. Yes.
Or the I help people get 6 and 7 figures by doing this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, You don't have no idea. I'm
Yeah.
sure you don't actually do
Right.
that. So when you talk about the scripting, is there, for basic computer language, an if-then statement, so different branches that people go through? So if they respond this way, they get that response. Is that how it works, or what's the mechanics of it?
So initially, with how we work with our clients, we'll draft a script that is purely there for follow-up, right? That initial connection message is so important. We want to make it very personalized. We want to make it very conversational so that they can connect with us. If they don't respond after that initial connection message, then my team creates a series of follow-up messages, which is going back. The follow-up is to help consistency. It's not to create a humanized conversation. It's just to evoke a response so that we can start a real conversation, right? And so we have different cadences of the follow-ups that get sent out. If they respond immediately, the automation gets shut off, and my team will go in there to have a real conversation. If they don't respond, maybe 3 days later or 4 days later, we'll send another follow-up message, just based off of the previous message we sent. So that's how we utilize the automation. It's not meant to control and take over your entire inbox. It's a tool that helps us get in front of the people to start that initial conversation, and then we continue the conversation with a real person.
That's awesome.
So do we have any questions from the audience? Is there anybody who'd like to ask some questions about how this automation process works, or automation in general, that we could address with Kim? You can go ahead and unmute if you would like to participate. Karen, do you use automation at all in your business?
No, I don't. I was just thinking about that. Because I'm a wellness professional, that human connection is so important. Prospects, people who are inquiring about my services, they want to know who I am and what I'm all about. And if I do automation, it takes that connection, that human connection, and caring right out of it. So I have chosen not to. The only thing I do though, I'm sending out a MailChimp blog twice a month, but it's basically focused on education. So I'm providing value. And what I do in those blogs is I actually insert me. So when I say that, I got to where I am today because of my own health issues. So everything I talk about in the beginning of the blog is how I was before and how I've corrected it. So in this last one, I did the problem that I had and then the result that I had. And so people can identify with that. And it's actually worked out very well. People are really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's personal touch with some automation.
Mm-hmm.
With the LinkedIn automation, are your clients normally using that as a tool to pursue new connections, that they're being more aggressive in their LinkedIn sales approach?
More so sales approach, not necessarily just for connections. Of course, you get connections as you're doing the sales approach anyways, and so it works cohesively. But yeah, a majority of our clients are a lot more focused on those initial discovery calls, introductory calls, and then after we book a call onto their calendar, they'll continue that conversation, whether that be a sales call or furthering them along their sales funnel.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Kim, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. And it's been so nice to have you here and sharing how this Inbox Gorilla will work. Do you have a special offer that we can share with the audience?
I do. So for the month of November, we definitely, I know the end of the year is coming, and so we want to run a special offer, decreasing our price point by about $500. And so I'm not sure where that link is, if we're going to put it in the chat there, but for the month of November, our price point is going to be put at $9.97 versus the initial $14.97 a month. I thought that'd be really awesome to share here with all of you, because I know how frustrating prospecting can be, especially on LinkedIn. And so I'd be more than happy to work with anyone, or just have a call as well as strategy session to hear about your prospecting, or just be a LinkedIn resource for anyone that's watching. Or and yeah, that's our deal for November. And so I definitely want to share that.
Yep, and we have that on the website at the Connect Show /Kim Yang. So you guys can go get that deal over there.
I think that's so useful because LinkedIn is a 24/7 networking event that we can all participate in. And I think a lot of times they're like, oh, I got to go to this networking event and hand out business cards and make connections and do my pitch. But LinkedIn, it's open 24/7, and there's millions of people there that you can connect with, and at least a bunch of them need your services. So it's always open, and that's why your service is so valuable, Kim. And thank you so much for joining us. And I hope to have you on again in the near future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
So Tracy, I think we have a giveaway happening, and we have a couple things to do before we wrap things up, don't we?
Yes. What do we have to do?
Well, we have to announce the winner of our giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the book, which is our Rory Varden book, Procrastination, 5 Steps to Get Away from That Procrastination. We're so excited about it. We got to hype it up. First, we got to make it big.
I'm hoping it's ready. It's 10:45 on the dot, so.
Well, Kim's going to come on and tell us who.
Yeah, you got to kind of wait until past 10:45 because it runs until 10:45. So according to the website, it's still running. So I need a minute.
Okay.
And I will pop in and let you know.
All right, you pop in, and we are going to say thank you to our sponsor, the Serendipity Lab, which is just a wonderful place to be. We
Great
have
coffee, great water.
And we have some wonderful events coming up in December and January where you can come down to the lab, see the studio, meet Emily and David who run the place, and it's really nice.
Yeah, in fact, the Christmas show, should we tell them what day it is today?
Yeah.
It's going to be on December 21st here at the lab at 10 o'clock. You can join on Zoom or come in person, so it's entirely up to you. And but I'm not going to tell them what we're going to do yet.
I think we can give them a little teaser.
Okay.
There'll be food and drink.
Yes, and ugly sweaters.
And I think at 10 in the morning, we're going to have to do a vote whether you want to have alcoholic drinks or just coffee and
maybe
tea.
a mimosa.
There you go.
Might be kind of early, but it is near Christmas, so.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Mm-hmm. So if you have an opportunity to like and subscribe, share our content on Facebook, podcast, or the YouTubes, we'd surely appreciate it. It helps us reach a wider audience and makes the world go round.
Mm-hmm. And we'd like to say thanks, Sandra, for this amazing makeup I have on today, and Xander and all of our guests today, Kim Yang and Ariel. It's awesome.
And next week, we're going to be talking about TEDx podcast and getting onto a TV show. It's going to be amazing. I am looking forward to it. We have Deb DeSandro, who is a TEDx coach. She's been on TEDx. She knows what it's like. And September Smith, who lives in Canada, but I think she's going to be broadcasting from Mexico. And she is all about getting on podcasts, getting on shows, becoming a brand authority, if you will. And we're going to deep dive into that next week, and it's going to be really enjoyable. And we've killed as much time as we can, Kim. It's go time.
I'm sorry, guys, that they had the awarded set to the 16th. So I have been going bananas in the background, but I figured it out. I figured out how to change the date and the time, and we are ready to draw. We have Karen Willens is our great winner for
Karen
today.
Willens.
I love it. I love it.
Cool. Thank you.
I did my movie clap. You know, they don't really clap in the movies.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do movie clap. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, and stay for networking on Zoom.
Now we're going to do a little short mini networking today. Since there's a small group of us, I'd like to hear more feedback about your feelings on automation. And with that, we'll see you next week. For networking after we stop recording.